Hi guys, my name is Nancy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I just want to take this moment to thank each one of you that took time to watch my previous video, my introductory video. So thank you so much. I also want to take this moment to thank those of you that liked the video and dropped me a comment. To those that seen this video for the first time, please remember to subscribe, to like, to drop a comment, and you can go an extra mile, extra mile, and share the video. So thank you once again. So in today's video, as you can see from the title of the video, I just want to talk about turning 30 and how that felt like for me. I think I don't know if it's yesterday or the other day that the world was celebrating mental health. So I feel like this is in a way a topic that is related to that, because turning 30, being unmarried with no kids, it's something that I'll speak for myself. It's something that triggered a lot of emotions for me. It wasn't an easy process for me to overcome, and that's why I felt like I needed to make this video to put it out there, because I feel like there are a lot of other women like me who've gone through the stress of turning 30, being unmarried and with no kids, and so so before I talk about my experience with that, I just want to say that in our society or in our culture, turning 30 and still being unmarried with no kids is like it feels like a crime, and that's how I felt at the time. That's what it felt for me, because society has set these standards, more like rites of passages, whereby if you don't go through them, if you don't live by those standards, you are you're considered as a failure, and that's a case for our women in our societies today. It doesn't matter if you have a degree, if you have a good job as a woman, if you're making it and killing it as a woman, as long as if you don't have a husband, then you can't impress anyone. Like that's just how it is out there, and yeah, and like from my experience, like I've heard all these comments about single women and those women who don't have husbands, and yeah, but like I've heard all these like negative comments about them, that they're perceived to be unhappy, unfulfilled with life and things like that. But if we're being honest, that's not always the case. It could be the case in some instances, but it's not the case for everyone. It definitely isn't the case for me. And yeah, so to get back to me, I'll start by saying that in my teenage years and in my early 20s, marriage was not something that was my main focus. It's not something that that I thought so much about, so to say. It's not something that occupied I would say or something that really bothered me at the time, because for the conversations that I would have with my mom, marriage was not something that was brought up in our conversations, because for my mom, she wanted me to get an education, get a job afterwards, and just better my life. Because I think I can understand our way of thinking now, because growing up where I grew up from, in a military camp, there were a lot of cases where young girls would get pregnant, would stop school, and young girls would engage in early marriages and things like that. And I think my mom had that fear that she needed, to protect me from that life, and her way of doing that was to, not, I guess, bring up marriage talks with me, and her main focus in our conversations was simply, you need to get educated, you need to get a job afterwards, you need to so that you can, better your life, so that you can make your have the life that I didn't get to have, so to say. And yeah, so for me, at the time, marriage was not so important. I didn't feel the pressure of marriage at the time, but the conversation was brought up when I was 26, when I turned 26. My mom sat me down and she was like, look, you've been in this thing with this person for some time now, because at the time I was in a relationship with this person. We started dating, I think, since our second year of uni, if I'm not mistaken, and we had been dating from that time till we both graduated, and until at the point when I was 26, and my mom brought up the marriage conversation, and so, and she was like, look, we've been seeing this person for a while now, like, where is your thing headed? Like, marriage is something that you need to start talking about in your relationship. Like, it's something that you need to consider. Looking at your age, you are growing old. My mom, like, basically told me that I was becoming old at 26, and I could understand now, looking back, yeah, her way of thinking. And so I took what my mom said, and I brought up the topic to this person. I said, look, we've been people this side are worried. They're concerned to say, okay, yeah, you guys have been dating for a while now, and what's the way forward? Like, what's the plan? And the person that I was with at the time was just honest with me. They were like, look, yes, we can talk about marriage and all, but as for me, I'm not ready, because I don't feel like I'm at the point in my life where I'm stable enough, like financially stable enough to start a home. And I think that I could understand this person, because also at the I think we were at a time when we were both like into entry jobs, and we're not really stable to the point whereby we could start a home. I don't know, for I think for us, that's what it felt like at the moment. I can't speak for other people, because people are different, and people have different goals in life. But for us, I think yeah, we weren't ready at the time, and I could understand, like, where my partner was coming from, and so he told me to say, okay, yes, I'm not ready now, but I think I'll be ready if I do this and that, if I get to this point, and if you can wait for me to get to this point, then I think I can say that I'm ready for marriage. And so because at the time I took the relationship that we had as something serious, I decided to wait, because I was in love with this person, and I decided to wait. So I started waiting. I got to 27, 28, 29. I was just there waiting. So when I got to 29, and I realized that, okay, next year I'm turning 30, it started bothering me. Like, I started feeling the pressure, of being married, because there were also all these whispers, coming into my ears from my aunties, my cousins, under the breath, comments saying that I'm too old, I'm wasting my time with this person, and things like that. I think they were right. Looking at things from their perspective, I think they were right in their own right, so to say. And like all these comments, all these like thoughts about turning 30 and being unmarried really, really bothered me at the time, and it really affected me mentally because I felt like I was a failure. I felt empty inside because it also made me desperate, so to say, because during when I was 29, I think my relationship with this person was on the rocks at the time, and you know, I tried to push this relationship, so that, because in my mind I was thinking, okay, if I can push this person, you know, if I can push for us, for this relationship to work, at least by the time I turn 30, we would be planning for a wedding, and I would be settled, and yeah, I would fix this problem of being I would prevent myself from turning 30 and you know, and being unmarried, you know. And so I try to push this relationship with this person, and it didn't just work out, because you know, a relationship is about two people, and you can't push someone who doesn't want to move. And so this person wanted to rest, and so that's how I got to 30, still unmarried, with no kids, you know. And I felt devastated. Like, I don't even know how to put it into words, the feelings I felt turning 30, and I didn't and turning 30 and not living up to the standards that society had set for me, not to live up to the expectations that, you know, my family, that people had of me, you know. And it didn't matter whether I had a degree or not, whether I got my master's or not. Like, you know, for like, I felt like nothing mattered more to people than me being married, because the topic of marriage was the only topic that was brought up. So what's going on? Like, I would hear all these questions, comments. So what's going on in your life? Like, is there someone? Things like that, you know. Like, people would remind you as if I didn't already know that, okay, time has gone and you need to settle down. And so that really, really pressured me, and it disturbed my mental space, and I felt, you know, I felt as if my world had fallen apart. I felt as if I was a loser, like as if I was a failure, you know. And I felt, I don't, like I said, I don't really know how to put the emotions I felt into words, but I believe that someone out there who turned 30 and they were still unmarried went through those kinds of emotions, and I think they can relate to what I'm saying, you know. And I'm not saying it's a case for everyone, because, you know, other people come from families that are not so cultured, and turning 30 isn't a big deal for them. But for people like me, you know, who come from a cultured space where there are all these expectations around you, and you need to do ABC for you to be validated as a successful person, or as to be validated as you know, as a person doing the right thing, so to say. And so so that's how I felt, and I decided to make this video because I wanted to share my experience, and I know, like, there are many other people out there who have gone through the same, and also there are also those others who are, you know, at 28, at 27, at 28, 29, and just thinking about like thinking hard about their lives, like, you know, maybe probably at the moment you're not even in a stable relationship that you'd say before you turn 30 you would actually be married. And yeah, um so what's the point? So before I get to the like the point of me making this video, let me just talk about how I overcame those negative emotions that I experienced in my life. So when I actually turned 30, you know, I was like, you know what, I'm not dead, I'm still me. I still have goals, I still have ambitions, like I'm still me, like nothing has changed, you know. And I would say that it sort of gave me the freedom, you know, to do like to be my own person, like since because I turned 30 and I didn't live up to society's, like to the expectations of that other people had of me. It sort of like pushed me away, like from I sort of like I became invisible, you know, to people, like they just like outed me to say, okay, you'll never get married, we are done with you, like let's focus on this other. Like it gave me that freedom to just be myself, you know. And I'm really grateful for that time because it it gave me the peace. I think it gave me peace. Like I resonated with the fact that I'll probably, you know, never get married, and that's still fine because life is not just about marriage, and there are all these other things that you can do, you know. And one doesn't need to be married for them to feel accomplished, for them to feel fulfilled, or for them to live out the best lives of themselves. And so coming back to the point, like, of me making this video is simply to say that you know, life is not just about achieving this and that, you know. Life is mainly about seeing the bigger picture, like living for what God's purpose is for our lives. I think most of us we miss that, and I think most of us we try to in this age of social media, we try to compare our lives to others. Because your friend has done this, then it means that you also have to do it. And coming back to turning 30, like yeah, like being above 30 now, like I feel like I've seen quite a lot. I've observed quite a number of things about life, and I've seen that what most ladies do, because they feel the pressure like I felt it. They you know, when they turn 30 or before they turn 30, they tend to try to find a Mr. Right, or try to find this guy, you know, and turn this situation or person into a relationship that eventually leads to marriage, sort of to, you know, they like orchestrate a relationship, like cook up something so that before you turn 30 you can be married. And like I've seen that happening with most girls. And for instance, for some like young women out there, I've seen, like, for some who like were in relationships, like with this person, and this person has seen that they're about to turn 30, and this person isn't like maybe making a move to engage them or talk about marriage. You know, I've seen most ladies like, you know, I don't use the word dump, like sort of like get rid of those people, and, you know, find themselves people who actually marry them before they turn 30. And I think for those people, for a few, I wouldn't say for all, I've seen that there have been some regrets there, because, you know, um um the because because that's what happens when we try to um um compare our lives to other people's lives, you know, when we don't surrender to God's purpose for our lives. So I believe that God created each one of us differently, you know. This thing that society has, that, you know, that it creates this roadmap that everyone has to go through for you to be validated as a person. I think that's not right. And I think people should not be made to feel bad because or to feel as failures simply because they have not lived up to the standards that society has set for them. And yeah, I think I love the story of Joseph in the Bible because Joseph Joseph's life seemed as though seemed unfair, to say the least, because he's someone that his brothers sold into slavery, and he spent most of his youthful life in prison, so to say, until until he was made prime minister when he was about the age of 30. And so yeah, so I think most of us live our lives like Joseph, who are made to wait by God, to wait for that breakthrough. But you know, because of the pressures, the pressure that we get from out there, from people around us, even from people that love us, you know, our mothers, our brothers and sisters, just people around us, because of that pressure that we get, sometimes we tend to miss God's purpose for our lives, because um it now becomes about pleasing all these other people rather than ourselves. So I just want to put it out there that, you know, it's important that as young women especially, because I think society has placed a lot of expectations on women rather than men. Yeah, rather than men, because I think I've seen guys who've gone up to 30, 50, they are still unmarried, and that's okay for guys, but for a woman it's not okay. It's actually a crime. It is perceived as a crime, you know, or as witchcraft, as others would put it. And yeah, it's important that each one of us understands, or understands what God's purpose is for our lives. It's important that we, you know, shut ourselves to the noises around us, so that we can open up our hearts, you know, to what God is saying, or the direction that God is trying to lead us in. Because if we don't do that, you know, when God leads us into moments of into seasons of dryness, we feel as though we are failures. When God is making us wait, we feel as though we are failures, when in actual sense God is trying to build a character in us. Because with God, it's not just about blessing us with this and that, but it's also about building characters in us that can sustain the blessings that He gives us, you know. And so I made this video to young women out there who are, you know, about to turn 30, or who have already turned 30, and they're going through all these roller coaster of emotions that I went through myself, to say that, look, you just need to relax, okay? It's you just need to relax, you know, take it easy, because there's that song, when peace like a river attended my soul, you know, just let your heart rest, you know, let that peace, which is like a river, flow into like your soul. Let it flow into your soul. And when you get to that moment of quietness, you know, you really like understand what God's purpose is for your life, you know. Because there's as long as we allow ourselves, you know, to as long as we open our ears to all these noises around us, to social media and its unsolicited advice, you know, we'll always lose it. We'll always feel as though we are failures, as though we are nothing. We always feel empty and unfulfilled. So it's very, very important to have moments where we quieten our soul, because it is in those moments that we gain insight, that we gain understanding into what God's purpose and plans are for our lives. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. And please, if this is something that you feel like relates to you, please remember to leave me a comment down below. Your feedback really, really matters to me, because it shows that, you know, the content I'm putting out there is relatable, and it's helping out someone out there. So once again, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. Please remember to subscribe, remember to like this video, remember to share this video, and most importantly, remember to hit that notification button so that you can be notified every time I put up a new video. So thank you so much, and have a blessed day.